ladies and gentlemen. He's a child of God, a husband, NRA conservative, radical right-wing supervillain, and Twitter rock star. American by birth, Texan by choice, and a badass by nature. He's the owner of TomO'Halloran.com, O'HalloranMedia.com, and PatriotRadio.net. Please welcome Tom O'Halloran.
Defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
And good morning. This is the Wednesday edition of the Patriot Radio Show. And I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. Broadcasting today from my underground bunker deep in Arkansas, Nebraska. And I'm here to educate, irritate, and agitate. And folks, I'll guarantee today of all days, you're going to be super, super agitated. When you find out what's going on, when you find out what Obama's up to now, you're going to have blood coming out of your eyes. We'll get into that in a minute. Again, I'm Tom O'Halloran. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm Sir_TPO himself. My primary blog is TomO'Halloran.com. When you get there, please be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Spreaker, any other social media that you fancy. Also, please follow my editor, Veronica Coffin. She manages 15 websites on our network, and without her doing that, I wouldn't be able to do this. You'll find her follow button at the bottom of each and every post. Please find us on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/Patriot Radio Show, and like us over there as well. If you'd like to call in and be a part of the conversation today, the studio line is 832-761-1766. You can also listen to the live stream and join the conversation in the chat room at PatriotRadioShow.com. I'm on air 5 days a week now. We've recently moved to the morning. Instead of 9 p.m., it's 9 a.m., and we're doing it Monday through Friday. Please be sure to tune in each day, Monday through Thursday, as we do this, the Patriot Radio Show. On Friday, we still do Jihad on America, where I talk about the Islamists in America, sharing with you who they are, what they want, and why you should be afraid. If you did not catch my show on the Muslim Brotherhood, my show Islam is Not a Religion, or my show on Islamophobia, then please find your way over to PatriotRadioShow.com and catch all three of these shows. They will give you insight and perspective on the Islamist problem, and they will give you a solid foundation upon which we build each and every Friday as I continue to pull back the mask of Islam and share with you what's being done in the name of Allah, both here and abroad. And I do the news about Islam abroad because it's a look into the future of what's in store for America if we continue to allow the cancer of Islam to spread here in the homeland. Please keep abreast of my shows, listen to the live stream, as well as catch the archives of any shows you may have missed, all at PatriotRadioShow.com. And speaking of the website, please note that as of July 1st, when we came to the morning hours, in the center column, just below the Amazon box, which we'll get to in a minute, just below the Amazon box, I have a listing of the recent shows. This has always been there, but now I take the time after each show and I put in a description and share with you what the show is about so you can scan through it and know which shows you want to watch first. It'll make it easier catching up on the archives if you actually have a synopsis of the show. Now, this is right below the Amazon Marketplace. Please help fund the show. I'm not saying click on the donation button in the right-hand column, which would be very nice as well. we can always use some more cash flow. This costs a fair amount of money to get up and running. It takes a considerable amount of my time, 5 days a week, an hour for each show, and you've got to figure 3 to 4 hours of show prep going into the show. So it does take a fair amount of time. I've got Veronica Coffin as an editor. She is a volunteer. When we get revenue off the website, I share it with her to help compensate her, but there's not nearly enough revenue coming in for either of us. I've just recently spent about $850 on a studio. We've just upgraded to new servers. There's a lot of expenses here, and if you can help defray these, either with the donations button or by shopping at the Amazon Marketplace, you can get virtually anything you're looking for, from pens to coffee cups to clothes for your dog food, light bulbs, cameras. Just about anything that you can dream up, you can buy through the Amazon Marketplace. It's delivered to your door. You don't have to go out and fight the traffic. And you don't pay any more for it coming through the Patriot Radio Show or TomO'Halloran.com than you would if you went straight to the source. So don't spend any more money, but Amazon kicks back a few cents on each dollar, and it will go a long ways to helping keep the show up on the air. I'd like to thank my sponsors for the show. Dr. Dave Krupa. Dr. Dave, a true patriot. He's a member of the Republic of Texas, but he's also a chiropractor and a nutritional health specialist. If you know people that are suffering from anything from arthritis to cancer to just about anything that ails us, they're probably seeing doctors and taking drugs, the drugs that are advertised on TV with the long disclaimers at the end of it. This will cure your headache, but it'll give you suicidal thoughts. Don't do that stuff. Give Dr. Dave Krupa a call. He uses natural health supplements. He will actually solve your problems. He cannot say the word cure because he doesn't deal drugs. And the stupid government won't let you say you cure things unless you sell big pharmacy drugs, which actually cure nothing. But if you're seeing a doctor and taking medicine, or if you know somebody that is, if you care about that person, get them in touch with Dr. Dave Krupa. He will actually solve your problems rather than masking the symptoms. Also like to thank the Veterans of Foreign Wars, a volunteer organization that exists for the sole purpose of supporting and helping our veterans of foreign wars and their families. Please get involved with the VFW post near you and see what you can do to help your veterans. And now, on with the show. We're going to start off with the Iranian nuclear deal that Obama is pushing forward. He's been fighting for this for months. He's been bending over and kissing Iran's butt for months. I told you several months ago that Obama's concept of negotiating is coming to your enemy and saying, what can I do to please you? What would make you like me? What can we do that would make you hate America less? Obama negotiates, and I choke on the word negotiates because he doesn't negotiate. He appeases. He did the same thing with the Russians, with our arms treaty with them. It was a one-sided thing. We give up this, and this. We'll stop doing this. We'll destroy this many nuclear warheads. No, that's all right. You don't have to do anything. It was a unilateral disarmament. And now we're going into it with Iran, with a country that, like North Korea, cannot be negotiated with. Because any agreement you make with them, they will break at their earliest convenience. They have never honored a treaty. That's number one. Number two is they have an actual holiday called the Death to America Day. They were at a rally, Iranians, thousands of them were at a rally, and they started chanting Death to America. This is just last month while these negotiations were going on. And the Ayatollah Khomeini got caught up with them. Over the microphone, in public, he said, yes, I agree, Death to America. Meanwhile, Obama is asking, what can we do to make this peace deal go through? Obama's giving up all the locks that we have. We have their bank accounts locked. We have real estate locked down. Everything that they own in America has been frozen. Obama is freeing all of this up. We're releasing Iranian prisoners. We're doing everything we can to bend over and get Iran to agree to a deal. Well, the date may be slightly extended. It was supposed to be signed yesterday. Today marks the official deadline for concluding the U.S.-Iranian atomic weapons deal. One might think that Obama's supposed partners in peace would use conciliatory words befitting the occasion, but instead top Iranians keep kicking hot gravel in his face. Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei recently declared that America is stubborn, difficult to deal with, breaks promises, and is a backstabber. That's Obama's peace partner. He says, I will not allow foreigners to come in and talk to the nation's dear scientists and children and interrogate them. Khamenei says, our rude and brazen enemy expects us to talk to them, let them talk to our scholars and scientists about fundamental national and domestic achievement, but such permission will never be issued. So one of the terms of this agreement is that Obama wants the American monitors to be able to go into Iran and talk to the scientists, and that won't be allowed. As Amir Thierry reported in the June New York Post, Iran stages a Death to America conference every November to coincide with the 444-day kidnapping of U.S. diplomats that began in November of 1979. They celebrate this kidnapping. A few years ago, the Islamic Republic also added an End to America seminar every February. But even that wasn't enough for the Ayatollahs. They organized yet another Death to America conclave this very month in the town of Hamdan. Of course, anti-Americanism is the gasoline that fuels the Iranian regime. As Dr. Hassan Abbasi, the speaker at the latest anti-U.S. symposium, explained, Iran's purpose is to work tirelessly for the destruction of the United States. He warned that Tehran has tens of thousands of sleeping cells inside this country that would be triggered at the proper time. So Obama is freeing up the ability to create more nuclear fuel, to create nuclear weapons. Obama was telling us he's stopping all the development. He's stopping all the R&D. He's reducing the amount of production that can be done. He's tying Iran's hands. He is talking to us, saying all these great things that he's accomplishing. And when he's off the radio, Khamenei goes on the radio and says, Obama is a liar. We will never do this. We will increase our production. We will make more bombs. We will never allow our weapon systems to be monitored. And Takeo believes the details about the pending deal offer the theocracy everything that it wants. Obama is giving everything up and getting nothing in exchange. It would permit an elaborate research and development program that would likely rely on an inspection regime that falls short of the indispensable anytime, anywhere access. In the meantime, the sanctions architecture will be diminished, and the notion of ever snapping back sanctions in place once they're lifted is delusional. It takes years to get these sanctions put in place, to freeze the assets. And Obama is freeing up these sanctions as we speak. Even before the deal is signed, Iran is insisting that we release these sanctions. Just to get a signature, we have to bend over backwards before there's ever an agreement. And the sanctions will never, and I said this months ago, they'll never get the sanctions put back on. The result will most likely be continued atomic R&D. And this by the world's foremost purveyor of radical Islamic terrorism. Come 2025, they will have the capacity to build one or more bombs every year. Once Tehran tests such a device, probably underground, the world will start thinking about what the Ayatollahs might do with such weapons above ground. Above ground. Why not unleash a mushroom cloud over Riyadh, the capital of the Shiite Iran's Sunni archenemy, Saudi Arabia? Humanitarian and environmental apocalypse aside, the disruption in oil supplies would shatter the world economy. One nuclear bomb in Saudi Arabia, and the whole economic balance of the world would collapse. Why not lob nuclear warheads at Israel and turn some 8 million Jews into ashes? Why should Hitler be the only one to have his way with the Jews? Why not deliver one or more backpack nukes to the jihadists based in America, instruct them to detonate them in Grand Central Terminal, or the Lincoln Memorial, or Disneyland? Or how about all three simultaneously? That will put the great Satan in his place. Obama is enabling all this to happen by going forward with this agreement. If Obama and Kerry seem concerned about such scenarios, it doesn't show. The whole world is watching, and these two are salivating for a deal. Any deal. Such an agreement might secure a Nobel Peace Prize for Kerry, one that'll match the one for Obama that he got after 8 months in office. Actually, he was nominated for a Peace Prize, if you remember. Obama was nominated after about 12 days in office. After 12 days in office, his people nominated him for a Peace Prize. He has achieved nothing. He has achieved no peace. He has achieved no strategy for peace. He has only tucked his tail between our legs and abandoned Iraq. And now he's getting ready to do the same in Afghanistan. The Jewish Rapid Response Committee knows precisely what to do about this potentially fatal nonsense. Take to the streets and scream, hell no. This from a great column in National Review Online, a column written by Delroy Murdoch. The insanity of this agreement and the concessions are worse than we previously expected. And we knew they were going to be bad. I mean, we talked about this on the show several months back. But now it's coming to light that it's even worse than we expected. And we're going to get into the details of that in just a couple minutes. Please stick around. It is the Patriot Radio Show. And I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. We'll be right back.
Hi there, my name is Mark Cranenberg and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to talk about my favorite order from Chicago Steak Company. It's the Classic Prime Assortment. Alright, well let's open up and have a look what's inside. So right away we've got two 6-ounce filet mignons. If you know anything about steak, it's really rare to see filet mignons with that kind of marbling in it. Just beautiful steak. And then next we've got the two 12-ounce USDA prime strip steaks. Just look at how thick these things are. They're just beautiful. Again, beautifully marbled, amazing steak. Then we've got two USDA prime ribeyes. And if you like steak that is just mouth-watering, this is the steak for you. With all that marbling inside, you'll see it's thicker. The marbling is a lot thicker. That just means more moisture throughout your steak. Now we've got 6 USDA prime top sirloin steaks. These are the steaks that everyone's going to love. And then we're moving into our next package. Next we have 16 4-ounce gourmet Angus steak burgers. These are amazing burgers that everyone's going to love. And to top it all off, they give you one container of my favorite steak seasoning of all time, the Chicago Steak Spice. And you're going to love it too. So there you have the Classic Prime Assortment, my favorite and your ultimate steak experience. So be sure to order your steak today at mychicagosteak.com. I'm Mark. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you next time at mychicagosteak.com.
Hi folks, this is Tom O'Halloran from the Patriot Radio Show. If you're tired sitting on the sidelines and you want to get involved in turning this country around, if you want to actually have a hand in stopping the cancer of Islam that's spreading here in the homeland, do what I did. Look into becoming a Templar Knight. The Templars have been around for 1,400 years, and they're known as Christ's warriors. Become a warrior for Christ and see what you can do to fight evil. We don't carry swords these days. My sword is my microphone. Yours might be a newsletter, a telephone, maybe a blog. I became a Templar Knight with the Military Order of Solomon's Temple. Why not go to moost.org and see what you can do to make a difference? Because if we don't, who will? Thank you.
I reckon a storm's a brewing. Reckon so.
Reckon you got a hotel?
Reckon no. Money's tight.
Reckon Priceline Express deals can get you a great deal wherever you mosey.
You reckon? We reckon. I reckon our work here is done. Vamonos!
Express deals. Priceline savings without the bidding.
Think he's happy?
Oh, I reckon.
Boost Mobile believes you deserve more choice. You can pick your phone,
pick your plan,
and you can even pick a new spokesperson
and sell that phone.
The Samsung Galaxy S5 will rock your face off!
Give it to me through tears. Get unlimited talk, text, and data. Starting at $40 a month. Wow.
Pick your phone.
Pick your plan.
And pick your next spokesperson at boostmobile.com.
Tom O'Halloran.
We'll put a boot in your ass. It's the American way. All brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue. Of my red, white, and blue.
And we're back. This is the Wednesday edition of the Patriot Radio Show. And I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. We're talking about Obama's Iranian peace deal. Peace, nothing. It's actually enabling Iran to do virtually anything you want. You can give me this agreement. All I need is a peace agreement. And you can basically do anything you want to do. just sign the paper. Okay? Make me look good by signing an agreement with me. Okay? That's all. Doesn't matter what we really do in life. No one's surprised at all about the talks that were supposed to produce an agreement this week. Nobody's surprised that the date has been extended. But the critics that are paying attention fear that it's going to be an extremely dangerous deal, because the concessions are all one-sided, and that's not what an agreement is supposed to be. These concessions include allowing Iran to enrich uranium and build advanced enrichment centrifuges while an agreement is in force. Iran will keep all of its nuclear infrastructure, including plutonium-producing heavy water reactor. It's supposed to be re-engineered to produce less plutonium, but it probably won't be. Iran will also be allowed to keep its entire stockpile of the uranium it's already enriched, although it's supposed to dilute it down to a form less readily usable to make a bomb. But they probably won't do that either. Nor does Iran have to come clean about its past nuclear weapons work. And the U.S. reportedly has now pledged to provide Iran technical assistance to help to further develop its nuclear program. We're going to help these people that want to destroy America. They have holidays set aside to enrage every citizen. The Ayatollah himself says death to America, and we're going to help them build the reactors to do it. Why not go down to the ghetto and just arm all the people that want to kill white people? This is insanity. You want to kill us? No, you don't. Here, we'll help you build the reactor. This is absolutely stupid. Israeli news sources over the weekend claimed that the U.S. has caved on inspections of nuclear facilities in a final agreement, a report that is consistent with other reports this month about such concessions. So we came to a table with a whole list of stuff that we wanted. Iran denied everything, and we cave. Well, okay, if I can't do that, that's fine. Okay. We won't do that? Okay, that doesn't matter. But the story gets worse. In a June 29th Wall Street Journal article, columnist Jay Solomon wrote that the Obama administration has been secretly making concessions to Iran since 2009 to convince it to begin multilateral talks on its nuclear program. These concessions included the release of 4 Iranians detained in the United States and the UK. 2 of these people are convicted arms smugglers, a retired senior diplomat, and a scientist convicted of illegal exports to Iran. The U.S. also agreed to increase U.S. visas for Iranian students. Oh yeah, let some more terrorists come in. Obama's down with that. As long as it's something that's going to help destroy America, as long as it's going to put us at risk, Obama will go along with that. In a heartbeat. Iran also asked the United States to blacklist groups that are hostile to Iran. The Obama administration reportedly replied to this request by sanctioning a Pakistani military group known as Jundullah, which has attacked the Shiite mosques in eastern Iran, killing hundreds. The Wall Street Journal noted in a June 14th editorial that the Obama administration cut funding to a moderate Shiite group in Lebanon just after a framework agreement for a nuclear agreement was announced on April 2nd. The editorial also noted that on the day after the announcement of the framework agreement, the U.S. Treasury Department removed Buhari Saeed Abu Tayyir, that's a Dubai-based Sri Lankan businessman, from a list of persons sanctioned in 2004 as part of the Al-Qaeda nuclear proliferation network. This network provided secret assistance to nuclear programs in Iran, Libya, and North Korea. So we're freeing sanctions. We're letting this guy go. We're letting him have all of his money, even though he's been providing nuclear assistance to countries that want to destroy America. What other concessions has the Obama administration made to get into a deal with Iran? The overall picture that's emerging suggests an even broader understanding. To what extent has the White House agreed to Iranian regional hegemony, perhaps its dominance, secured by a nuclear capability? How much worse does this story have to get before Congress puts an end to this dangerous farce? Great column from the Center for Security Policy. The insanity of giving everything that your opponent wants and conceding to everything they want from you. One-sided negotiations. Basically, he is negotiating for Iran. That's what he's doing. Remember his quote from his book? If the winds should turn ugly, I will stand with the Muslims. That's what this is. He is negotiating an agreement with the United States in which we will help arm, we will help build nuclear bombs for the country that wants to bomb us. When you're negotiating for America, you're supposed to be on the side of the Americans. But he's negotiating for us like he's negotiating for Israel. He was actually brokering a deal for Hamas last year, telling Israel what they must do. He wasn't telling Hamas what they must do. He was telling Israel, our ally, what they must do to appease Hamas, the very people that want to kill the Israelis. Obama is an enemy of America, and if you haven't seen it by now, then it's time to take your head out of the sand. He negotiates with our enemies for our enemies. He's given Russia what they want. And now he's giving Iran what they want. And through his trade deals, he's going to give China what they want. He is going to turn America into a second-rate country at the very best. And he may cause us to be nuked in the coming years. It could well happen that in the next 10 to 15 years, I'd say 5 to 10 years, we could actually have a nuclear bomb or multiple nuclear bombs delivered and exploding in the United States of America. All because of the son of a bitch that's in the White House right now. All because of Congress that won't stand up and shut him down. The man is committing treason on a daily basis. The Republicans have a majority in the House and they have a majority in the Senate. They have the ability to impeach, to protect America. Instead, they try to help him get his immigration deal passed. They try to help him get his trade deal passed. And part of his trade deal is an immigration bill. But we've talked about that over the last couple of weeks. The White House is currently talking about what a great recovery we've had. They say it's the strongest 2-year job growth since 2000. Are you kidding me? Are you buying this crap? There's a record-setting 93.6 million Americans that did not even participate in the labor force at all. And this is just last month. 93.6 million Americans age 16 or older who aren't in the military or institutionalized that did not hold down a job or look for a job. That means the labor force participation rate has now declined to 62%. That's the largest number of people not working or trying to find work since 1977. CNS News reports on how the White House is cooking the numbers to make lemonade out of lemons. Out of the 157 million people who did participate in the workforce, 157 million did. 148 million of them had a job. 8 million did not have a job but were looking, making them the nation's unemployed. The 8 million job seekers were 5.3% of the 157 that were actively participating. Remember, participating means working or looking. So the 8 million that were looking were only 5.3 million, or 5.3%, and that is the unemployment rate. 5.3%. It used to be 5.5 back in May. So Obama is saying the unemployment rate dropped from 5.5% to 5.3%. Wow! The economy's turning around! But let's look at the reality. Where did this 2% drop come from? That's the lemonade. But the actual number of Americans that are working, the employed Americans, dropped from 148,795,000 in May to 148,739,000 in June. That's a decline in 1 month, a decline of 56,000 jobs. But he says the unemployment rate is going down. Folks, he's lying to you with numbers. There are 50,000 more people without jobs. There are 93 million people that aren't in the labor force. They are not working and they have given up on working. They're not even looking. Meanwhile, Obama just got fast track and is putting together a trade and services agreement which will allow foreigners from the entire European Union and 39 other countries to come here and work freely, to travel in and out as much as they want to work. What is that going to do to salaries, to those that are working? It's going to drive salaries down. Minimum wage is going from 9 to 15 in some places. These people are going to come in and say, hey, we'll work for 8. We were working for 1 back home if we could find work. Obama is doing everything he can possibly do to destroy this country. And nobody's paying any attention. Why? Why don't people pay attention? 93.6 million Americans aren't participating in the labor force. And Obama says it's a great recovery. It's a great recovery means you're dumber than dog do. Because you have to be if you're going to buy this. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
I reckon a storm's a brewing. Reckon so.
Reckon you got a hotel?
Reckon no. Money's tight.
Reckon Priceline Express deals can get you a great deal wherever you mosey.
You reckon? We reckon. I reckon our work here is done. Vamonos!
Express deals. Priceline savings without the bidding.
Think he's happy?
Oh, I reckon.
My husband Clint is a gourmet cook, but we don't have a gourmet kitchen, at least not in our home. That's why when we go on vacation, we rent a house from HomeAway.com. It's part of what makes HomeAway so unique.
Finding and booking a vacation rental at HomeAway isn't just easy and free for travelers, it's also fun. You can pour through photos, read descriptions, even search maps to make sure a property is near the attractions you want to enjoy. White sand beaches, golf courses, snow-covered ski slopes.
Not only do we have more space to be ourselves, we save money, which we can put towards the next vacation.
To get started, just put in your travel dates, decide where you want to go and how much you want to spend. Here's where it gets fun. Tailor your vacation to your likes. We've rented beach houses, one even had a private pool. That was nice.
There's even a HomeAway app for your phone or tablet that works as seamlessly as the website.
Choose a house that fits your family. Double the kids up in bunk beds, or give them each their own room.
I love bunk beds. What I don't love is listening to the person on top squirm around all night.
I love bunk beds. We prefer a house with a big screen TV, so we can have movie night.
Whose turn was it to choose the movie?
Oh, come on, Mom. The kids love this stuff.
I get lots of attention. But it's not always the right kind of attention.
Hey, shake that thing.
And that's why I went to GoDaddy.com and built a website that brings attention to some of my other assets.
Hey, sweet cheeks.
Like teaching self-defense classes.
Whoa!
You want a piece of this?
Tom O'Halloran has a not-so-common core spelling lesson for the Obama administration. Ready? There is no K in America.
There's kids that can't pray in school, $100 tanks of gas. I can tell you right now, this country ain't supposed to be like that. No, that ain't my America. That ain't this country's roots. You wanna slam, hold on to Sam, but I ain't letting you. Yeah, I'm mad as hell, and you know I still bleed red, white, and blue. They ain't us, and that ain't my America. Oh no, that ain't my America. No, 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 no. That ain't my America. Oh no.
Welcome back. This is it. This is the morning edition, Wednesday on the Patriot Radio Show. Just before the break, we were talking about, or a little bit before that, the last story was something different, but we've been talking about the so-called negotiations that Obama is doing with Iran. My good friend Richard in the chat room, which I'm not up to speed on monitoring while I talk. I'm getting better, but I hadn't been looking. He says that he's negotiating with them the way a husband negotiates with a wife. Anything she wants, she gets. It's kind of ironic because Obama is definitely the bitch in this situation. But, yeah, that's basically the way marriage is negotiated. Whatever it takes to keep the wife happy, she gets. So, good call, Richard. I hadn't seen it that way, but yeah, man. But, yeah, Obama is definitely the wife in this situation. Okay, we got a bunch of stuff to cover. We don't have a lot of time, so we're going to move fairly quickly through some of this. But please, go online. All these stories today came right off of the website, TomO'Halloran.com. Just another reason why I adore my editor, Veronica Coffin. She does such a great job, makes it possible to do this show, bring you these stories without spending 10 hours combing the internet myself. In Oregon, I believe that's where my brother Richard is, in the chat room. They are the first state that is launching a pay-by-the-mile scheme. They will be charging, I think it's a penny and a half per mile, and that's just the starting point. All taxes start low, right? Yeah, they all start low, and they usually are temporary. But the plan is, and there are several states that are looking at doing this in one fashion or another. The plan is to attach a GPS to every vehicle. The government will track everywhere you go, every mile you drive. They will be able to see which strip clubs you go to, what girlfriend's house you spend how much time at. They will know everything about you as though they don't already know enough. And they will charge you more per mile in taxes than you'll currently pay on your regular gas tax. But those of us that drive long distances, because we live out in the country, we're going to be paying through the nose on this. Just one more way to get in our pocket and control. It's about control. It's about money. It's about taking money, but it's also about controlling you. This justifies them putting a GPS on your car. Now when they want to find you, they'll know exactly where you're at. Think Progress, organization funded by the American-hating George Soros. George Soros is a Canadian billionaire, owns like 17 tons worth of gold. He has bet against economies. He's done inside trading in Europe, and he's a convicted felon over there. Meanwhile, he's spending his money to fund every anti-American organization he can find. And now he's funding an organization that goes with the hashtag, "We will shoot back." He funded a lot of the anti-American, the anarchist, the Palestinian groups that were in Ferguson, Missouri last year. If you recall, I went through the list and read dozens of anti-American organizations that were on the ground. Many of them were funded by him, pouring gasoline on the flames, fomenting the unrest. Now they are urging blacks to be armed, to carry a weapon, and if a police officer fires at you, to shoot back. Well, first off, very, very, very rarely has a police officer fired at an unarmed man. It happens. There have been mistakes, and there's been a couple of bad cops. But this is being blown way out of proportion. Way out of proportion. And it is not on a racial basis. It is very decidedly not. White police officers shoot more white innocent people than black. And black police officers shoot as many blacks as black cops do. So this whole divide the people thing is bullcrap. Don't buy into it. But Obama's buddy, George Soros, has gotten behind it. And you can see more funding for that coming down the pipe. You'll see the "we will shoot back" hashtags being in the news, just like Black Lives Matter, which is why they kill themselves. They kill each other in record numbers every weekend in Chicago. Let's see. The gun that was used last week the arrest was made last week. I'm not sure where. Yes, the gal was shot Wednesday on a pier last week. 32-year-old Catherine Steinel was shot by an illegal alien, not an undocumented immigrant like is reported on the news. She was shot by an illegal alien from Mexico, one of Obama's free to come in people. He's been deported 5 times, and he shot this girl on a pier for no reason. Well, now it turns out the weapon that she was shot with belonged to a federal agent. The gun was stolen during a car burglary in June, though it wasn't clear how it ended up in the hands of Juan Francisco Lopez Sanchez, the 5-time deported illegal alien who admitted to the shooting. So it was a stolen weapon. Good news this week. Finally, some good news on Obamacare. Arizona has just taken the first steps to nullify the Obamacare. A bill introduced by state reps Justin Olson and Vince Leach. House Bill 2643 was passed by both state houses in Arizona earlier this year and signed into law by the governor in April. It went into effect on July 3rd. This bill is awesome, and I hope we see more of these bills popping up around the country. The law prohibits the state in various ways from using any personnel or financial resources to enforce, administer, or cooperate with the Affordable Care Act. They are not going to be allowed to regulate it, to collect money for it, to investigate it, to enforce it. Nothing. We are a state. We are separate from the United States federal government, and we have a right to govern ourselves. I'm disappointed that Arizona was first, because it should have been us here in Texas. I'm afraid we have way too many rhinos in office in Austin for this to have happened. But this does bring a lot of hope. Okay, next up. Well, let's do a couple quick facts on... that's not important. That's not important. What's important is what our soldiers are going through overseas. This is Ramadan. This month is Ramadan, big Muslim holiday. And we've covered this last year. We've covered it several times during the year. But our tolerance of Islam is maddening. And I open every show with, I'm here to educate, irritate, and agitate. And I do want to agitate you. I hope to piss you off at some point in every show. Piss you off enough that you'll take action, that you'll pick up a phone, that you'll send emails, that you will attend a rally, that you'll engage and not just listen to my rants. Great column, though, by Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. God bless him. He says, I often tell folks, when tolerance becomes a one-way street, it leads to cultural suicide. I have no problem respecting others, but it must be a two-way exchange. Recently, we learned that the U.S. ambassador in Indonesia made a decision, or someone did, to change the 4th of July celebration at the embassy to the 4th of June. This was done to respect Ramadan. Needless to say, the ambassador seems to have forgotten that the embassy is sovereign U.S. territory, and all festivities could have easily been done after sunset. Everything. Fireworks, hot dogs, hamburgers, the whole shooting match. And now our men and women serving in the Middle East have received a reminder about respecting Ramadan, as reported in the Weekly Standard. A top commander in the U.S. Southwest Asia has reminded U.S. military personnel stationed in Muslim countries in the Middle East of the restrictions placed on them during Ramadan. According to a report by U.S. Air Force's Central Command, the U.S. is committed to the concepts of tolerance, freedom, and diversity, but added that the soldiers should, quote, become more informed and appreciative of the traditions and history of the people in this region of the world. Remember that we are guests here, and that the host nation is our shoulder-to-shoulder brothers and sisters in arms, risking their lives for our common cause to defeat terrorism. During the 30-day religious celebration of Ramadan, even non-Muslims are expected to obey local laws regarding eating, drinking, and using tobacco in public. Violators can be fined $685 or receive 2 months in jail. Colonel West says, again, I have no issue with respect, but already our troops in the region are told not to display crosses, Bibles, or anything that might be considered offensive to Muslims. And you know that no non-Muslim is allowed to visit Mecca or Medina. Can you imagine if we in America said that no Muslims could visit Washington, D.C.? Here in the United States, recall the instances of Muslim student organizations with ties to the Muslim Brotherhood demanding that the film American Sniper not be shown on several college campuses. So how much acquiescence must be granted? There's actually a term for this, dimitude, which means subservience. Now the Islamopologists and others will call us bigots or hate mongers for talking about this. But all we're doing is asking questions and pointing out the inconsistencies. There's not a lot of mutual respect being shown Christians in the region, or Assyrians or Chaldeans or Coptics, whose historic communities existed long before Islam. Consider this. What if the U.S. military chain of command came down and mandated respect for a Christian celebration? And don't start frothing, because last Christmas season, the dining facility at Guantanamo was ordered taken down. We also know that religious references and symbols at this venerable Air Force Academy, the chapel windows were assaulted by atheist groups. Christian symbols have been removed from military bases all around the world. At Gitmo, the guards were told to wear gloves when handling the Quran. Wear gloves? Are you kidding me? People are allowed to piss on a Bible, on a crucifix, and we're supposed to wear gloves because these goat-raping pedophiles tell us to? And yet our men and women in the military are ordered to show respect to that book. The book that says to kill the infidels. We're supposed to respect a book that tells these murdering bastards to kill us. All this because we have a Muslim in the White House, people. If you haven't connected the dots, that is what we're dealing with. West finishes by saying, I have respect for Islam, everything prior to 622 AD. But y'all lost me after Al-Hijra. And if there are folks out there who don't know what I'm talking about, get a book and read. Stop being a dummy to Dimini. Alan West gets it, folks. When are you going to get it? That's it for today. God bless you, America. God bless you and yours. This is Tom O'Halloran. I'm out.